minutes lapse, it doesn't matter how heavy my dashboard is, we have to move to the next question to save on time. Clerk, do we have the CS Treasury in the House? Thank you. Honorable CS, welcome back to the Senate. We have listed 4 questions that are directed to your ministry. I will therefore proceed to invite the Senator for Kitui, the Honorable Enoch Wambua, to ask question number 034. Clerk, please do the timing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that we have 22 minutes for this one, I will spare the CS a few things that I wanted to say. Let me just go straight to the question. Question number 034. One CS, what is the current status of pension disbursements to former members of parliament who served between 1979 and 1992? B, has the National Treasury undertaken any review or adjustment of these pensions to ensure they remain fair and sustainable, considering the rising cost of living and inflation over the years? And lastly, what policy measures has the government put in place to ensure pensions align with prevailing economic conditions? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond, bearing in mind that we have received a copy of your response, and therefore, if you may paraphrase where necessary to save on time. Proceed, Honorable CS.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In the interest of time, I'll try my level best to paraphrase and summarize my response without losing content. Now, I rise to address question that was raised by Senator Enoch Wambua that is question number 034. Regarding pension disbursement to former members of parliament who served between 1979 and 1992. The current status is as follows. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, former members of parliament who served between 1979 and 1992 were eligible for pension benefits have been receiving payments in line with the Parliamentary Pensions Act, Cap 196, as revised in 2012. And this revision significantly enhanced their pension entitlements by adjusting the actuarial factor from 1/600 to 1/300. Effectively, this doubled their pension benefits. And as a result, these former members of parliament received a revised pension lump sum and an adjusted monthly pension following this the implementation of this Section 8.2 of the Cap 196, revised in 2012. But there are also further efforts to review the pensions which have been guided by the recommendations of a CHOATIC tribunal, which was appointed by the Parliamentary Service Commission to review the terms and conditions of the service for members and staff of Parliament. To implement these recommendations, several legislative attempts have been made. So there have been several attempts to amend the Act to accommodate the CHOATIC recommendations, which was recommending at least a living pension of $1,000 per month. There was the Parliamentary Pensions Amendment of 2019, which the bill which lapsed in January 2019. Then there was another Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill 2019, sponsored by Honorable John Mbadi, was MP then, and this was rejected on 24th of September 2020 following presidential reservations. It was passed by Parliament but rejected by the President. Then there is the Parliamentary Pensions Amendment Bill by Honorable John Waluke. This is the bill in 2023, to implement 100,000 minimum pension. However, it faced opposition first from the National Treasury, which raised concerns about fiscal sustainability, and of course the SRC, which also deemed the proposal unconstitutional. The Parliamentary Service Commission recommended further consultations with stakeholders. So those three reasons made the bill not to see light of day. So in light of these concerns and presidential reservations, the Parliamentary Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning recommended the rejection of the bill in its entirety, which was done. Now, review and adjustments to ensure fair and sustainable pensions, as has been asked by the honorable member. I wish to report that National Treasury has undertaken several measures to ensure pensions remain fair, sustainable, and responsive to the rising cost of living. And these include implementation of the Pensions Increase Act, Cap 190, which since 1st July 2005, pensions have been reviewed every 2 years with an increment rate of 3% to help pensioners cope with inflation and rising living costs. Number 2 is actuarial valuation of public service pension scheme. Regular actuarial assessments are conducted every 4 years to evaluate pension liabilities, funding levels, and sustainability. The other one is a comprehensive actuarial review is currently underway to ensure the long-term financial stability of the pension system. Legal reforms to strengthen the pensions framework. The government is implementing legal reforms to align public service pensions with our constitution and recently formulated national retirement benefits policy. These reforms seek to create a more equitable, transparent, and robust pension system while ensuring fiscal sustainability. Number C, the policy measures to align pensions with economic conditions. Honorable Speaker, to protect pensioners from economic shocks and inflation, the government has implemented the following key policy measures. We have increased tax exemptions on pension contributions from 240,000 per annum to 360,000 shillings per annum. What that simply means is that previously, before December 27th, when we passed the Tax Laws Amendment Bill, every month pension up to 20,000 shillings per month or 200,000 per annum was exempt from tax if you contributed to a pension scheme. Now that has gone up to 30,000 shillings per month. This adjustment not only helps mitigate the effects of inflation, but also increase employees' disposable income, reduce payee liabilities, and promotes a stronger savings culture. This is one of the provisions in the Tax Laws Amendment Bill, which is now an Act of Parliament, that was very progressive, and we encourage Kenyans to support, and fortunately it was passed. The other one is tax exemption on pension benefits. The removal of taxes on pension benefits provides retirees with a higher post-retirement income, improving their financial well-being and ensuring a more comfortable retirement. I wish to report here, Mr. Speaker, that for those who may not know, that from 27th of December last year, anyone accessing his pension is now accessing it without paying any tax. And that is like saving 30% of your entitlement. And I think it has been very progressive. Those who have benefited from the same can attest to that. And also encouraging long-term retirement savings. These tax reforms create incentives for individuals to save more for retirement, strengthening financial security in old age and reducing dependency on government support in later years. We are also strengthening post-retirement medical care. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, that we are now providing tax exemption on post-retirement medical contributions. If you are contributing to post-retirement medical scheme, you enjoy tax exemption. The other one is establishment of post-retirement medical funds. Treasury, through Circular Number 9 of 2024, authorized pension schemes to set up dedicated post-retirement medical funds, ensuring retirees have access to affordable and sustainable healthcare solutions. And Mr. Speaker, I'm sure you're aware that even Parliament is presently in the process of setting up this fund to take care of retired members of Parliament in their medical needs when they retire. And this is to all public servants. Development of an end-to-end pension administration system. The government is investing in a modernized pension administration system that leverages advanced technology to improve efficiency and scrutiny. We are also integrating blockchain and biometric technology, which will enhance the security of pension management, ensure real-time tracking of pension disbursement, and eliminate delays in pension processing. In fact, we are looking towards, in terms of integration of IFMIs for timely remittances, the system will be fully integrated with the Integrated Financial Management Information System. The aim here is to transfer retirees automatically from being employees earning a salary to retirees earning pension benefits without going through rigorous steps of processing your pension. It should be seamless. From 1 month to the next, if you retire, you should start getting your pension. And these reforms collectively strengthen retirement security, improve pension fund sustainability, and enhance post-retirement quality of life. Honorable Speaker, the National Treasury, in conclusion, remains committed to ensuring that pension benefits for former members of Parliament and all public service retirees are fair, sustainable, and responsive to economic conditions. We will continue working with stakeholders to explore feasibility solutions that uphold fiscal responsibility while ensuring retirees receive their rightful entitlements. I thank you.
Senator Wambua, you may ask your 2 supplementary questions. Honorable Senators, let us avoid speeches. Sure. In the interest of time, go straight to the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 2 quick ones. On question number 1, I expected the CS would give us actual amounts. Actually, that was my biggest interest. With the public money being used to pay pensions, I thought he would give us the actual amount, the lowest. What amount of money is the lowest pensioner earning and the highest earning? Because that will inform his response to the benefits that they have gotten from tax exemption. Then lastly, Chair, the second question would be, seeing as it were that the CS was himself pushing this agenda when he was a member of Parliament, and now he's seated where he was pushing that agenda. Will he continue with this, or was he just playing politics? Thank you.
Honorable Pierce, CS rather.
Thank you. On actual amounts that these members earn, I may not have the actual figure, but I'm told the lowest is in the region of about 28,000 shillings per month. It is fairly low, and that is why there was a recommendation from the Kiumi Commission to push it up to a living pension of at least 100,000 shillings per month, or 1,000 US dollars per month. It was, I think, put in US dollar terms. But this, I want to repeat again, that you can only be able to change it if you amend the law, because the law as it is, you cannot change the actual amounts that these honorable members or former members of Parliament earn. In terms of the CS pushing the agenda, yes, I pushed the agenda as a legislator who has the powers to legislate. Now I don't have that power. That power is with members of Parliament to push for legislative amendment. I can only propose to Parliament for an amendment, but I think this is a matter that Parliament is well seized of. Parliamentary Service Commission is there, which is concerned with the welfare of members, both present and former, and if there is supposed to be any adjustment on pension entitlement to former members of Parliament, the right people to push for that would be the Parliamentary Service Commission and members of Parliament. Thank you.
Senator Fomeru, the Honorable Gathuri Murumbi. Honorable CS, just note down those questions, because I'll be calling upon a number of senators so that you can respond to them at a go.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the last time the CS was in this House, I raised a question concerning former councillors. You can see issue about the pensions and gratuity and honorarium is really recurring every time. So you tasked the 3 committees of this House, the committee, JLAC, Labour, and Budget and Finance, and the National Treasury, to sit down and come up with a legal framework to facilitate the payment of honorarium and monthly pension to former councillors. So, Mr. Speaker, the 16 days you give have lapsed. So I was, because the CS is here, I was looking at all the 3 chairs, none of them is in this House, because he is also party to this issue, whether maybe he can give a word on how far they have gone with that discussion on the legal framework, because that is what he said, that is what is lacking, so that they can release the money to the former councillors. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, my question is on policy. There is a member of parliament from Bungoma who served 4 terms. But after serving 2 terms, it was interrupted. He started enjoying his pension. Then he came back, served another 2 terms. Now when he's gone back, he's unable to enjoy pension of 4 terms. Is it the policy of the government that such a member of parliament should be denied to enjoy pension of 4 terms? Instead, he's being referred to the first 2 years, first 2 terms, Mr. Speaker.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, a quick question. I have on my phone messages to the effect from the people that send me to this house, that when will the minister stop this practice where when public servants retire, they have to spend the next year 2 to 3 years chasing their pension file at Bima House. Mr. Speaker, many of them retired teachers, doctors, public servants. I have seen from the response of the minister that they're actually inputting an integrated blockchain and biometric technology. The only thing that is missing from the minister's answer is when. That's very important for the people that vote for me to come to this house to know that when they serve the public and eventually they retire, then they will receive their pension at the next month after, because that is how modern world should work, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, that's my humble request to the minister to know when. I thank you, Speaker.
Senator John Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is not very different from what the majority leader has asked, and it particularly concerns teachers and police officers who are retired. Mr. Speaker, you will be told by the TSC, once you follow up, that the TSC has made all the necessary documentation and referred the same to Treasury. And why there are delays is because there is delayed disbursement by Treasury. And Mr. Speaker, I would want the CS to tell us what he is doing to prevent abuse of Article 223, because that is clearly where the problem with delayed disbursements are happening, where money set aside for a particular purpose like this for settling, for sorting out pensioners under Section 223. I mean Article 223, then such monies are drawn and taken to other use. What is the CS doing to see to it that there is no abuse of Article 223? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Miraj.
Asante Bwana Spika, swali langu halitakuwa tofauti na kiongozi wa wengi bungeni. Tuko na tatizo sawia katika sekta ya posta. Wale waliostaafu bado wanahangaika kutafuta marupurupu yao ya uzeeni. Tungependa waziri atueleze kuna shida gani wakati watu wametumia ujana wao kuitumikia serikali yetu, na wanapostaafu, wanapofika uzeeni, wanaanza tena kuhangaika kutafuta kiinua mgongo chao.
Senator Lenku.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think we also have the same sentiments on the issues of KCC staff, where we have a problem that 300 million has been a problem for retirees who retired so many years ago. And the national government, the government has never paid these retirees 300 million only, and that case is National Treasury. Could the Cabinet Secretary just shed the light on that? Otherwise, they will die before the 300 million paid.
Senator Eddy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Apart from people who don't get pension, there are people, Mr. Speaker, who actually get their pensions and they get stolen. I wanted to ask the CS whether he's aware that this is a project that is going on, where pensioners, especially teachers, we have got a number of cases that there is collusion with banks where their money gets up being defrauded from them. And specifically, if he's aware, what is the regulator under him doing, that is the CBK, to be able to deal with these issues in conjunction with the Treasury as well?
Honorable CS, you may respond. You have exactly 6 minutes to do so.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know whether we will still address question number 048, because it's like we are the supplementary questions to the question.
Those that you feel will be answered through your response to question number 048, you need not respond to them now.
On the question of the team that was supposed to be put together to look at the issues of former councillors, I thought this was supposed to be Senate-driven, Parliament-driven, and I don't think we have got communication to the effect of putting our team in the team. But I think it's something that I can follow with the committee chairs, because I don't think we have made much progress on this. On the question that Senator Boni Alwale asked on policy regarding members of Parliament who serve for the 2 terms, don't win re-election, and then starts enjoying pension, and then when they come back. It is the way the law is crafted now, that once you enjoy the pension, when you come back, either you choose to pay, to buy back the pension, and then you continue, and then when now you retire, the 4 terms will become counted cumulatively, or you forfeit, or you forgo. So, but there is an amendment to that effect that is being processed, so that we can allow former members who served for some terms and have come back to enjoy seamlessly the pension without that kind of a challenge. But the way the law is today, if you start enjoying benefits of pension, like myself today, if I come back again to Parliament, then I have to either buy back that period that I enjoyed the pension, or I forgo. So that is the law as it is today. Majority Leader, I agree with you that there's been challenges in terms of when pensioners leave employment and get into pension, they wait for too long to get their pension because of system challenges, but there are also other issues around delayed payment of pension, some of which is with those agencies or ministries where they're working, where you find the processing of files become a challenge, that files are lost, members move from one office to the other. We have even had cases reported of corruption getting into the system, and that is why we want to integrate the system. We want to automate the system. When you leave system to manual, there is bound to be abused, and that is what the ministry is taking steps to ensure that that is dealt with. Now, I think Senator Fumuranga is asking that the abuse of Article 223 is the one that is denying pensioners money or reallocation of pension fund. I am not aware of any pension allocation that has ever been reallocated in any way. Actually, if there is any particular location that is always ring-fenced, it is the pension. It is the CFS going to pension. So that is not correct. Yes, there could be abuse of Article 223, which we are trying to work on. But again, you will also agree with me that that article was not provided in the Constitution in vain. The people of Kenya considered that there could be circumstances that would merit or warrant provision of additional funds that was not appropriated by Parliament or National Assembly for that matter. So if there are abuses, those abuses have to be dealt with, because this one is within the powers of the Cabinet Secretary for Finance. On the issue of poster employees and KCC, RBA has already put staff receivers in place to work out on how to pay these creditors, along which part of the creditors are former employees, because these are companies that faced challenges, especially Posta, the pension scheme for Posta. So there is already a process going on to make sure that that is addressed. Finally, on Senator Eddie Okech's question of defrauding pensioners by banks, if we automate this automatically, will be dealt with through automation. When you allow manual systems, it is open to abuse. And we have also identified that some pensioners have been defrauded through collusion, even between pension staff and also the bank staff. And that is something that we are addressing through automation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We will now move to question number 035 by the Senator for Kirinyaga County, Honorable James Murango. You may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My questions are as follows. A, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a breakdown of all taxes and levies imposed throughout the entire tea supply chain? And B, what specific taxation measures is the Ministry planning to implement in the financial year 2025-2026 to eliminate double taxation and other unnecessary taxes that overburden farmers and stakeholders in the tea industry? And last, could the Cabinet Secretary outline the challenges faced in previous attempts to eliminate some of these excessive taxes and levies on tea and explain actions taken to address them? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may respond. Now, Honorable CS, I note that the response is fairly lengthy. In the interest of time, please just try to paraphrase it, because we have, we already have hard copies with us. We'll be following as you paraphrase.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I notice also that my response is fairly too long. I will not go through my response in the traditional way. So, question number 35 by Senator James Murango was on taxes and levies imposed throughout the entire tea supply chain during Senate plenary. The first page is basically talking about the significance and importance of tea as the tea subsector as one of the drivers of economic growth in this country. We all know the contribution of tea to our economy. So I've just explained that in line with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, or better if you like. Now, in the financial year 23-24, the government implemented a number of interventions specifically for the tea subsector, which included provision of processing equipment to tea cooperatives and establishment of a tea value addition hub and promotion of investment into the hub, export market development and export promotion, and provision of fiscal incentives and establishment of warehouses for value-added tea in key development markets. So these are reforms that are ongoing. I've also indicated how much tea has been contributing to our economy. Export earnings, I've already also explained how much we are getting in terms of export earning contributed by tea subsector. So in the financial year 25-26, as outlined in our budget policy statement of 2025, the government will be executing the following key intervention to further boost the tea subsector, and that is already enumerated: value addition, market development, farmer support. So these are explanations about what the government is doing, and infrastructure, putting up infrastructure, especially like in Dongo Kundu, special economic zone, and constructing research and development facilities for tea. So coming back to the question, where I was asked to explain or provide a breakdown of all taxes and levies imposed throughout the entire tea supply chain, I want to say that tea subsector benefits from numerous tax incentives, in fact, that supports its growth and sustainability, making it a thriving subsector. So this subsector is one of the subsectors that is actually cushioned, that is actually enjoying incentives, as opposed to getting to a sector that is subjected to additional taxes. So there is no VAT. I've just explained some of the exemptions or tax incentives, especially on VAT. I have said that there is no VAT charged at this level, at the farming level for tea. There is no VAT on inputs such as fertilizers. There is no, there is agricultural services are exempt from VAT. Agricultural farming tractors are exempt from VAT. I've also indicated that imported agricultural machinery used for land preparation are duty-free, but only attract VAT at 16%. Railway development levies at 2%. IDF is at 2.5% of the customs value. Tea processing, 100% investment deduction by tea factories located outside the cities of Nairobi, Mombasa, or Kisumu are also exempt. In fact, I think we should now add Eldoret and Nakuru, although there is also a thinking that we should remove this requirement at all of only cities, because cities are becoming many, and again, we feel it is unfair to the cities. Machinery used for tea processing is currently duty-free under EAC common tariff, external tariff. Income of an entity, including tea processing factories, are charged corporation tax at the rate of 30% like any other factory. Processed tea sold in the domestic market is subjected to VAT at 16%. Transportation services on unprocessed tea are exempt from VAT. Unprocessed green tea is VAT exempt, and locally purchased tea for value addition before exportation is zero rated. Marketing and distribution. Under marketing, tea brokerage services enjoy exemption from VAT. Locally purchased tea for value addition before exportation is zero rated. So, Honorable Speaker, manufacturers of packaging materials locally for uses by exporters of locally produced goods such as tea and horticultural products import raw materials duty-free under the EAC duty remission scheme. Packaging materials of all goods, including packaging for tea, also attract 16% like any other. Imported packaging materials attract excise duty at the 25% of the excise value, but I will give the latest information about that. Various government agencies charges fees or levies for services rendered to producers or manufacturers. Now, but I want to just point out, Honorable Speaker, two things. That in the finance bill of 2025, we have done two things. Number one, we are proposing to exempt packaging materials used for tea and coffee from VAT. This exemption will only apply when packaging materials are imported or locally purchased, with a recommendation from the Cabinet Secretary responsible for agriculture, given that the use of these materials isn't exclusive to coffee and tea packaging. This measure aims to protect these crucial sectors while also safeguarding government revenue. But the second thing that we have done is under custom duty. On the custom side, Mr. Speaker, last year, Kenya was granted a stay of application of the EAC Common External Tariff on certain paper products to apply a higher duty rate of 25 to 35% to support domestic packaging materials. However, this negatively impacted exporters, such as the tea industry. To address this, Kenya did not request an extension of the stay of application of the EAC Common External Tariff on these paper products during this year's EAC pre-budget consultations, which I led in Arusha. And actually now, Mr. Speaker, I want to report that we have gone back to the EAC CET rates of 10% like any other country in the East African region. On question number 35B, what specific taxation measures is the ministry planning to implement in the financial year 25-26 to eliminate double taxation and other necessary taxes that overburden farmers and stakeholders in the tea industry? I wish to respond as follows. I would like to clarify that there is no double taxation in the tea subsector. As regards to specific tax measures for the coming financial year, we are currently reviewing submissions from the public, but we have already reviewed the submissions from the public anyway. I think this answer should be amended to read that we have already considered and have just read some of the steps that we are taking to reduce taxation, which would support the tea subsector. So I have mentioned that the various incentives. I don't want to repeat them again. I want to go straight to 35C, Mr. Speaker. Could the Cabinet Secretary outline the challenges faced in previous attempts to eliminate some of these taxes and levies on tea and explain action taken to address them? I wish to respond as follows. While there may be challenges affecting the tea subsector, Honorable Speaker, the national government continues to extend numerous incentives to the subsectors outlined above. From consultation with the regulations of the tea subsector, various actions by various government entities are ongoing to address the burden of the fees or levies in the tea subsector. Some of these measures include enactment of Tea Act 2020, which reduced the management fee payable by tea factories from 2.5% to 1.5%, thus saving tea farmers approximately 1 billion annually from management fee to Kenya Tea Development Authority. There is the ad valorem levy of 1% of the customs value of exported teas, which was scrapped in 2016. The agricultural produce cess of 1% of green leaf was also scrapped in 2016, saving quite significant amount. And since July 2016, the government replaced the levy scrapped with a government grant to fund operations of Tea Research Institute and Tea Board of Kenya, which support the tea industry development programs such as research in tea, trade promotion, and market development, amongst others. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, Kenya's tea industry remains a vital pillar of our economy, supporting millions of livelihoods and contributing significantly to national development. Through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, the government is committed to strengthening the tea value chain to ensure sustainable growth. I thank you.
Honorable Senator James Morango, you may ask your 2 supplementary questions.
Asante sana, Mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, swali langu la kwanza zilikuwa kwa takwimu waziri aweze kupeana zile anda na kondi zote ambazo zinalipwa na wakulima majani chai. Mstahiki Speaker, nimeona amejibu na kusema venye serikali inafanya ambayo ni sawa, lakini jibu langu hakujibu. Mstahiki Speaker, kulingana na nakala niko nazo, mkulima majani chai kutoka mbunge la kitaifa, kutoka serikali kuu mpaka zile za ugatuzi, analipa anda na kulipa kondi tofauti 42. Na nilipokuwa mwenyekiti wa kamati ya ukulima, tulikuwa tumekaa chini na kuwa tumeelewana kwamba serikali itajaribu kupunguza hizi. Lakini kwa sababu ambazo sijaelewa, waziri hakuziweka wazi. Kwa hivyo ningetaka kusema, Mheshimiwa Speaker, kwa swali hilo sikuridhika na majibu ambayo waziri amepeana siku ya leo. Kwa sababu, Mstahiki Speaker, nilikuwa natarajia kama ni taasisi ama halmashauri ya kuokota kondi, inaokota kondi zaidi ya 5 hapa. Ukiangalia halmashauri ya Nema ina kondi inaokota. Ukiangalia kama ni taasisi hapa kuna kondi inaokota. Ili tuweze Mstahiki Speaker, kujibu swali na kuendelea mbele, ningeomba waziri anapoenda anijibu hili swali ili niweze kusema na nasema. Swali la pili, Mstahiki Speaker, ni kwamba katika bunge la kitaifa kuna nakala ambazo waziri aliweza kupeleka pale mwaka huu, ambayo ilikuwa ina kondi mpya ambazo zilikuwa zinafaa pia kutozwa wakulima kahawa. Mstahiki Speaker, hiyo sheria bado iko katika bunge la kitaifa na niko na nakala hapa ambayo iliwekwa katika gazeti la serikali. Ningetaka kuuliza waziri, kilimo cha msingi kitawekwa kondi mpaka lini? Kwa sababu nchi zinazoendelea kilimo cha msingi akiwekangu kondi na anda ili mkulima aweze kunufaika na mazao yake. Asante sana, Mstahiki Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Mr. Speaker, I tried to put together some of the taxes that are and levies that are put or charged on tea right from the farming level. I put a paragraph. The tea processing, I put a paragraph. Marketing and distribution, I also put a paragraph. If the honorable member has any other levies that need not to be there, I think the best thing to do is to recommend for those levies to be removed. But as far as I'm concerned, I have enumerated what I am aware of are taxes and levies on tea. I think he has talked about some amendment that is in Parliament to put some charges on coffee. Yes. Maybe you, Honorable Speaker, with your permission, you can explain again. You can come and repeat the question again.
Mr. Speaker, ukinipa nafasi nitamwonyesha waziri.
Honorable CS, if you need time to acquaint yourself with that particular document, you may say so.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I'm trying to check because my understanding was that we were reducing those rates. And so it's just demonstrated to me the rates that are on the first schedule and the second schedule. My understanding is that those rates were coming down. But if they are going up, I may need to check and address that. But I am almost certain that the rates were higher than what is being provided. And so what we were trying to do is to reduce the rates to make coffee more competitive, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, in line with the question by the Senator for Kirinyaga on measures to reduce double taxation, unnecessary taxes, and overburdening of farmers and Kenyans in general, I would like the CS to address one question. Honorable Speaker, we have had the ministry, actually the CS himself, taking credit that this year's finance bill has no new taxes. But I know it's credit to the Gen Z who have struck the fear of God in this government. They will not attempt to bring new taxes. What are you doing about existing taxation, Cabinet Secretary, that you found, including the housing levy, the increase in pay, and VAT on fuel that has seen the cost of taxes on a liter of petrol exceeding the cost of the product? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Mofai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is a supplementary question. CS Treasury. Honorable Speaker, this country has witnessed for decades some grievous disparities in distribution of developments across the country. Talk of roads, talk of water, talk of industries and so forth. So as the minister in charge of the National Granary, is there any written policy that is supposed to guide you on how you are supposed to distribute the national developments? And I'm asking this, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of very many Kenyans. You find some areas have been neglected for decades. Other areas are endowed with better roads, water, and so forth and so forth. Is there any existing policy, for that matter, that a Kenyan can quote maybe from Tharaka or from Northeastern or from any other part of this country where there are no such kind of developments? What is it, what criteria do you use to determine where you are supposed to put up roads, where you are supposed to put up water, and so forth and so forth? Is there any existing policy for that matter? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may, if in a position to respond to that question, you may, because it is not related to the primary question. The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I have a question to the Cabinet Secretary in regards to his response on page 6. Unfortunately, Minister, I'll have to tell you that none of these items that you have listed was done to the tea farmers. This is a topic very close to my heart, and therefore I know every single intervention that is done. In the fiscal year that you're referring to, 2023-2024, you have quoted in your response, Mr. Minister, that there was provision of processing equipments to tea cooperatives. It is now in this financial year that there's an attempt to put 3.5 billion shillings to support aging tea factories. And even that, I'm not sure whether the National Assembly Budget Committee will maintain it. So I'll have the minister check with his records and the people in the ministry whether any of this has been done, because to the best of my knowledge, there is no tea cooperative that was supported with this. With regards to establishment of this, what is calling tea value addition hub, construction is yet to begin of the common user facility that the government promised tea farmers in the country. And therefore, it will be important for the minister to let us know when construction of this common user facility will commence. There was a promise of R1 billion to KTDA through its subsidiary Ketepa that this was going to be set up in Kericho. I do not know to this date, Mr. Speaker, when that facility will be available for farmers. The same can be said, Mr. Speaker, about Part C of his question, because it needs to be quantifiable. If the minister had given us the specific figure of how much that export market development the government committed to, we'd appreciate, because it is one of the interventions that we seriously need. Lastly, Speaker, just a comment to the minister, because, you know, we are representatives of people, and when there's an opportunity, I appreciate that transportation of tea to factories is VAT exempted. I do not understand, Mr. Minister, why in every finance bill, last year it had to be removed, and even in this year's proposal, transportation of sugarcane to factories is subject to VAT. I don't know why at Treasury they want to treat tea farmers and sugarcane farmers separately, yet they are all citizens of this republic. So while I appreciate what is done for tea farmers, I'd wish that the Treasury does the same for sugarcane farmers as well. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll try to be fast. Yes, it is true that we have not made major changes in taxes that would disadvantage the taxpayer or individual taxpayers in terms of reducing their disposable income. And this was a commitment. Yes, I know Senator Sifuna is attributing it exclusively to Gen Z. Partly true, partly not true. Honorable Senator Sifuna very well knows my stand on taxes. Even before I joined the cabinet or the executive, I am one person who does not believe that higher taxes would lead to more revenue or higher tax rates. And that is my stand. I've spoken about it. Maybe we share that idea with Gen Zs, but so it cannot be exclusively the Gen Z's ideas. And I think the government is also sold into the idea that now, where we have reached, we cannot go further to reduce disposable income. On housing levy, I think there is a discussion around seeing how to restructure it, because again, it has serious benefits, in my view. Quite a number of projects are coming up, but at the same time, the individual employees, those with pay slips, have complaints, which you cannot ignore. So a lot of restructuring is going on, and I am sure that more pronouncements will come in due course. On the issue of pay, again, also we are looking, actually this financial year, when we were preparing the finance bill, we even did some simulation on how to reduce the pay as you earn. But what stopped us from implementing it with this finance bill, and I think we are going to consider it in the next finance bill, alongside the reduction of corporation tax or corporate tax from 30% to 28%, we considered reducing to 28%, was the failure by KRA to meet its revenue targets. And so we thought that as we carry along with the reforms at the KRA, we should not be doing too many things at the same time. First, let us see what the reforms at KRA, in terms of automation and in terms of making it efficient, is yielding to us. Then we can now move to the next step of reducing the tax rates to increase disposable income. But it is an idea that I support, Senator Sifuna. And that also goes to the heart of fuel levy or road maintenance levy. On distribution of development across the country, yes, Senator, it is true, Mr. Speaker, that over the years since independence, that we have not been very fair and objective as a country in terms of distributing or budgetary allocations to regions. And this is what has brought the tension that we have in the country where people believe that for you to get development, then your people should be the ones in power. And I think devolution was meant to cure this, but it's still at the same time, still it has not been fully cured. We are trying, and it is not something that you are going to do in a day, to try as much as possible to be equitable in the distribution of resources. And I think the budget that we have produced addresses it to some extent, it has not fixed it, but addresses it. Take, for example, and I've given this example, that since independence, the children in Tana River have been eaten by crocodiles as they crossed River Tana going to school. For bridges, one bridge costing just 100 million, yet you find many of us have tarmac roads up to our homes. It is not fair. So many of us have tarmac roads up to our homes. So many of us have piped water in their houses, even in rural areas. Yet Tana River, those children, for just 100 million, have been eaten by crocodile. That is, we cannot live in such a country of iniquity. So, inequitable resource distribution. Remember, for the first time, I want to say here, AJAABU constituency, for example, is going to see
30 seconds more.
The first tarmac road. And I can go on and on. And you see the first major road in northern Kenya being under construction since independence, all the way from Meru, Isiolo, going to Garissa, Wajir, all the way to Mandera. 740 kilometers being done in this government to enhance equity. Now, the majority leader talked about, I can just answer the majority leader by saying that I am going to follow through some of these initiatives, including the support to tea cooperatives, common user facility and all that. We have put some allocation in the budget. I hope they will not be taken away by the National Assembly. And then I will make sure that the monies are released or the exchequer is released to support the tea sector. Thank you very much.
We now move to question number 048 by the Senator for Kisumu, Honorable Tom Ojenda. You may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I'm very much aware that you are constrained by time. But you know, Mr. Speaker, when members are asking questions not related to the subject matter, as we come from areas that the best in the world, and under question to the CS. But when now we start digressing and we don't ask the prime questions, Mr. Speaker, then some of us will be lost. So, Mr. Speaker, can you give me a latitude just to ask him one question? So that...
Honorable Senators, this is not for me to tell you. The standing orders are very clear. If you read Standing Order 51C, 7A and B, it's very clear that one, you need to ask one question, and that one question must be related to the primary question. Now, if you take to the floor and give us a speech, time doesn't stop running. For those who feel they have more questions to ask the CS on this particular subject, you can always post that question, and we'll invite the CS to come back. This should not be the end of responding to questions related to taxes on agricultural produce. Senator Tom Ojenda, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question number 48 goes to the CS Treasury, CS John Bardi. It's in four parts. The first part, what immediate measures are being implemented by the government to address the extensive days in processing pension claims for retired civil servants of various levels, Mr. Speaker? And could the Cabinet Secretary provide a timeline for full digitization of pension records and transition to an end-to-end enterprise resource planning ERP system for a more streamlined process? That's part one of the question. Mr. Speaker, part two is on the processing of pension and the pervasive corruption claims. How is the ministry addressing the pervasive corruption and bribery within the pensions department, including claims of pension payment to non-existent or ghost pensioners? Part three, Mr. Speaker, what is being done to ensure that pension funds, which have persistently faced significant carryovers due to underfunding and liquidity challenges, are prioritized and allocated adequate funding in future budgets? And lastly, Mr. Speaker, part D, could the CS Treasury explain why any proposed regulatory reforms aimed at harmonizing outdated pension laws with contemporary digital financial management practices? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. These questions are born out of the delays in payment to pensioners. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond. Now we have 15 minutes. Those 15 minutes to be utilized by the CS in responding to the question, and also to be utilized by honorable senators in asking supplementary questions.
Yeah.
Now, honorable CS, your response is fairly lengthy. Please paraphrase it to allow honorable senators time to interact with your response.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think I'll take 3 minutes just to go through the response. I'll not read it verbatim. Measures being implemented to address delays in pension processing and the transition to a digitized pension system. A number of steps we are taking for comprehensive review. One is timely submission of retirement notices. Employers are required to notify employees of retirement at least 1 year in advance, and to submit pension claims to the pension department 9 months before the official retirement age. Number 2, verification and documentation. Pension payments are contingent on complete and accurate documentation from retirees and employers, and complete submission, disputes, or litigation. Number 3 is processing at the pension department. Once a complete pension claim is received, the department processes it within 90 days, as stipulated in the National Treasury Citizens Service Delivery Charter. Then we have exchequer releases, which is also another challenge. Payment of pension gratuities depends on the availability of funds, which is influenced by national revenue inflows. So to improve efficiency, these are the measures that we have taken. One is deployment of pension officers to key MDS. So we have made sure that key MDS, like TSC and others, have pension officers. The National Treasury has deployed 18 pension officers to the Teacher Service Commission, for example, to expedite the verification and submission of the pension claims. Number 2, strict enforcement of early submission policies. MDAs are mandated to submit pension claims 9 months before an officer's retirement date. Number 3, system enhancements and technical support. That is, pensions management information system is undergoing significant upgrades to reduce manual interventions and improve efficiency, and also enhance data security. Review of the pension legal framework is also being undertaken to align with emerging needs and improve the sustainability and efficiency of pension payments. National Retirement Benefits Policy. The Cabinet has approved the National Retirement Benefits Policy, which was approved on 3rd November 2023. This policy aims to harmonize retirement benefits, improve governance, and enhance sector growth. Public awareness and sensitization is also ongoing, is also being conducted, workshops being conducted, and sensitization programs on retirement. Recruitment of additional pension officers. To enhance processing capacity, the Treasury recruited additional pension officers in 2021, followed by 6 deputy directors in 2024, with specialized expertise in pension administration. Number 8 is the re-engineering of the pension management information system. The Treasury has onboarded a contractor to develop an enterprise resource planning solution which fully digitizes pension, and that online claim submission will be done, self-service portal, automated approvals, integration with key government databases is also being addressed. So number B was the question. So the system is expected to be fully rolled out by 1st July 2025. This will help us now, like what I said before, that we will automatically transit those who are from the payroll to the pension payroll. Addressing corruption and bribery in pension administration. First, we are doing the following: strict pension verification procedures that it's being instituted, and this will help us reduce errors, fraudulent submissions, and unauthorized payments. Collaboration with financial institutions, like the case that Senator Eti Okech spoke to earlier. We are working with commercial banks and financial institutions to monitor dormant pension accounts, flag suspicious activity, and prevent unauthorized withdrawals. Open plan office layouts. Pension Department has restructured its office setup to enhance transparency and accountability, reducing opportunities for unethical conduct. Decentralization of pension services through Huduma centers, following retirees to access services without unnecessary bureaucracy or middlemen. Number 5 is integration with the National Death Registry. The Treasury is integrating biometric verification with the National Civil Registry to detect deceased pensioners in real time and prevent continued payments to non-existent beneficiaries. Biometric pension verification and e-pension system has also been implemented. Collaboration with the investigative agencies to deter cases of corruption. Now, number C is ensuring adequate budgetary allocation for pension payments. That was also asked. The Treasury is committed to ensuring that pension obligations are fully funded and liquidity challenges are minimized. And to achieve this, prioritization of pension payments. Pension payments are treated as a first charge obligation in the national budget, ensuring they are allocated sufficient funds. So it is in the CFS as a first charge. Addressing carryovers and cash flow constraints. Outstanding pension obligations due to cash flow challenges are prioritized in the subsequent budget cycle. Like 2023-24, we carried forward 23 billion. That is pension unpaid at the end of the financial year. That became the first charge and was paid in the 2024-25. But that has also put a strain on our 2024-25 finances. But now I'm happy to report that as we speak, in fact, between 30th of April and 21st of May, it would interest you, Mr. Speaker and the honorable members, that within those 3 weeks, we paid a total of 17 billion, 17.4 billion to the pensioners. And now we have a balance to pay of only 16.9. So compared to last year, when we carried over 23, up to date, and the year is not yet over, we have 16.9 billion to pay. And I think we are going to do much better than last year, although we should do 100%. Addressing carryovers, I've spoken to. Timely issuance of monthly pensions, again, that is one of the steps that we are taking. Regulatory framework for pension administration. The National Retirement Benefit Policy approved in November 23, together with the provisions of the Constitution, provide the foundation for modernizing and aligning pension laws with contemporary economic and demographic realities. In line with this, the government is implementing key regulatory reforms, which are as follows. The legal reforms, we have on the scope, the Task Force on Public Service Pensions Legal Framework, formally appointed on 17 September 2024, is tasked with reviewing existing pension laws and identifying gaps and hinder effective service delivery. Then there is legislative and regulatory amendments. The task force will propose comprehensive reforms to enhance efficiency. Then we are also doing benchmarking with international standards. The review will incorporate lessons from countries with well-established pension systems to ensure a robust and globally competitive pension framework. Number 2, engineering the pension management information system. Again, I talked about this, eliminating paper-based processes, empowering pensioners with self-service capabilities, accelerating processing through automated approvals, enhancing security and accuracy through system integration. So the key here is automation. If you automate pension system, as we have indicated, then you will solve a number of these issues. And I've said from 1st July, we are onboarding the system, and it will enhance efficiency. Now, finally, I think is reforms to enhance financial sustainability, transition from defined benefits to defined contribution. To enhance sustainability, the defined benefit scheme cannot work Because again, with the life expectancy going up, and with meager or limited resources made available through budgetary provision, we can't sustain this. So the new system of public service superannuation scheme is going to help us a lot in addressing these pension challenges going forward, because we are going to have defined contribution system that is already rolled out, and this has been done out of actuarial calculations, and it is a better system. So in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, the National Treasury recognizes and values the contribution of retired civil servants, remains steadfast in its commitment to ensuring that their pension benefits are processed efficiently, transparently, and without undue delays. The measures outlined above are transformational and will ensure that Kenya's pensions administration is modernized, digitized, and aligned with international best practices. I submit.
Honorable Odinga, you may now ask your 2 supplementary questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I did not declare that both the CS, myself, and Senator Sifuna are in this broad-based government, but I will still ask the follow-up question, Mr. Speaker. But it is true. It is true. It is true. Mr. Speaker, let me proceed. Let me proceed.
What is your point of order, Senator Sifuna?
I get extremely irritated every time people come here, and instead of addressing the matter at hand, it is irrelevant. What sort of contribution is that? And we have very limited time to engage with the CS. Could you stop the senator from engaging in sideshows?
Senator for Kisumu, the rule on irrelevance
Mr. Speaker,
applies.
I will move to the question.
Stick
the point
to the matter at hand, please.
Mr. Speaker, that's okay. Mr. Speaker, my supplementary question is on the point that the CS has addressed, the public superannuation pension scheme. Mr. CS, address us why there has been delay in processing pension funds for police officers and retired TSC officers under the public service superannuation pension scheme. And when will this be paid? Because there's a delay, a patent and palpable delay. But we are still in the same system, Mr. Speaker. Thank
Honorable CS. You may respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Senator Odinga. Yes, we have noticed, it has come to our knowledge that there is a delay in processing of pension entitlements to various civil servants under this public service superannuation scheme. And this has been occasioned by lack of policy guidelines, which we have processed, and we are almost concluding, and the moment that is done, then the pensions will be processed more or less like 2 weeks. So it is something that we are acting on, we are aware, we are alive to that challenge, and we are addressing it. Thank you.
Senator Kinyua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to hear the comment of the Cabinet Secretary concerning very serious issue raised by the Auditor General on the issue of NSSF. Thank you.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is a supplementary question that on the CS, in relation to delays of pensions. In the past, we used to have DC structures where the aged pensioners used to access their money and through the post banks. But of late, they have been told to go to banks. And some of these guys don't even have enough money to pay for the rate for the banks. So what measures are you placing in place so that at least these senior citizens can be able to access their money easily? Is there a plan for you to develop? One other thing is, why don't you have some treasury, pension offices in some part of the regions? So at least instead of farmers, pensioners coming up to here, to Nairobi, and having problems in this place, they could be able to take money from their regional places.
Senator Abbas, you are entitled under standing orders to ask only one.
So,
No. Senator Karungo Thangwa, Senator Mudama, Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
on the question that was asked, is it really working? It's much better. Now, on the question by Senator Kinyua on the NSSF, I guess this is a question relating to the release by Auditor General or the Office of the Auditor General regarding the investment by NSSF on some government bonds, and that has some challenges. First, I wish to state that pension funds have some kind of independence in terms of managing the pension investment, and they have they recruit custodians and fund managers to do that and advise them on how to invest, where to invest. So if there are mistakes that they committed in terms of investment, then there is a process that would deal with that. As the Auditor General has flagged it out, and already I am aware that a parliamentary committee is on this matter. I would only wait for the parliamentary committee to conclude its work, make recommendations. That is Public Investment Committee of the National Assembly, I think. Make its recommendations, and then action can be taken, especially if there is any action regarding policy direction that the National Treasury needs to put in place to deter any future involvement. Because again, in terms of actions for someone who has deliberately, if there is any deliberate act, then that we have relevant departments and offices dealing with that. On the issue of pension officers being deployed, we are trying to move away and make this work, this whole question of managing pension be automated. And so we are having a self-service portal we are putting in place that they don't have to move. The pensioners don't even have to move anywhere. Even at the comfort of their homes, they can access almost all the services that they need without going, including if they have a system of accessing their banks. They would just file documents and start withdrawing money to their phones from the bank, and it becomes very easy. And we have also put in place services at Huduma centers to support this. Thank you. I think that's what I would say on this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We shall now move to question number 79 by the Honorable Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would want to ask this question on behalf of Senator Karen Nyamu. The questions are as follows. Question number 079. 1, could the Cabinet Secretary state the medium-term strategy to reduce the fiscal deficit from 4.9% to a sustainable level? Number 2, what measures is the ministry undertaking to support counties, noting that 2025 budget policy statement project GDP growth at 5.3% and stable inflation, yet county governments face a contracting fiscal space and rising costs? 3, what interventions is the ministry implementing to address the pending bills crisis in the county governments, particularly in Nairobi County, where pending bills have accumulated to approximately Kenya shillings 121 billion, and what mechanism are being enforced to ensure timely settlement for supplier debts and prevent further accumulation? 4, how does the National Treasury plan to manage increase domestic borrowing by the government without crowding out private sector credit and stifling economic growth in light of constrained external financing and the lapse of the International Monetary Fund, extended fund facility, and extended credit facility, and program signed in April 2021. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Now, Honorable CS, we have 15 minutes within which to respond and also to allow supplementary questions from Honorable Senators. So kindly paraphrase. We already have your substantive response. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in responding to this question, although this is an area that I become sometimes very passionate, but I will not go overboard. So to effectively manage the prevailing fiscal deficit in Kenya, the government through the National Treasury is adopting and has adopted a multi-pronged approach with notable focus on both revenue generation and expenditure control. So you can call it revenue generation and expenditure or fiscal consolidation. So there are several steps or approaches to this. Number one, strengthening financial controls. Number two, diversifying borrowing sources. Number three, improving debt repayment planning. And number four, promoting efficient resource allocation. Those are the steps that we are taking to ensure that we manage, or rather, we reduce the fiscal deficit to manage the debt sustainability. So, for example, in this financial year that we are going to 25-26, we plan to have a budget deficit of about 4.5%, not 4.3 as indicated in the document. We have revised it to 4.5% compared to 4.9, which of this current financial year. Actually, it's going to be about 5.1% this financial year. So we are reducing the budget deficit. The best way to address or enhance or ensure debt sustainability is to persistently and consistently reduce budget deficit year by year. I want to report, Mr. Speaker, that in 2020-2021, the budget deficit was 8.3. 21-22, that came down to 6.2% of GDP. 22-23, it came down to 5.6. 23-24, you see we are coming down. We came down to 5.3, and now we are at 5.1. Then we want to move to 4.5 continuously, and in the medium term, we'll be at 2.7. So that is what the reduction of budget deficit will help us on debt sustainability. But then, that can only be realized through fiscal consolidation. Fiscal consolidation here simply means, one, you enhance revenue collection. And that is why we are working on Kenya Revenue Authority, automating their processes and procedures to make sure that we enhance efficiency and effectiveness of that institution. But also, we are working on the other side of managing expenditure. And managing expenditure and managing prudence in use of public funds. Mr. Speaker, I want to report here that one step that we have taken to ensure that our revenues are realistic, because that is one area that has resulted over the years in over budgeting, which has given us high fiscal deficit. We revised 2025-26 revenue estimates down from 3 trillion and 18 billion to 2 trillion 757 billion. For the first time, Mr. Speaker, I'll report to you that the National Treasury's estimate of ordinary revenue is below the estimate by Parliamentary Budget Office. For the first time. It has always been that the Treasury estimates are higher. So we are doing that to make sure that we are realistic. So on the revenue side, let me brush over or move to expenditure. Some of the things that we are doing to ensure that we cut on expenditure. And again, I want to report here that we reduced our expenditure based on the BPS that was approved by 120 billion just to live within our means. So we are taking steps to actualize fiscal sustainability. The government will sustain efforts to strengthen accountability, transparency, and a revenue mobilization path by the medium-term revenue strategy. We are also strengthening expenditure control and improving efficiency and effectiveness in public spending. That is why on 7th of April, I officiated the launch of e-procurement system to maximize value for money and increase transparency in procurement. From 1st of July, all government procurements will be done through e-procurement platform, and no one else will be given excuse. Over 3,000 MDAs will all be onboarded, and the onboarding is going on, and we are even training the suppliers, the contractors on the use of this system. We have also implemented zero-based budgeting approach for this financial year for the first time. We have also operationalizing the assets and inventory management modules in our IFMIS for all MDAs. In order not to crowd out the private sector and the provision of public services, the government is scaling up the use of public-private partnership framework for commercially viable projects. A number of projects are lined up for PPP. Rironi Mau Summit is one case. We are also thinking and working and moving forward with SGR that will largely be on PPP. The Galana Kulalu project is there, one of the PPP projects. A number of projects under the energy sector, especially the energy transmission, are also being implemented under the PPP system. The government is also piloting a new human resource management system, which will be rolled out to all national government ministries and departments, as well as all county governments, in order to improve the management of the wage bill, including statutory payroll deductions. In view of the constrained fiscal environment, prioritization during resource allocation will be critical in ensuring low priority expenditure are dropped or deferred to give way to high priority service delivery programs. So ministries, MDAs are therefore required to reevaluate all the existing or planned activities, projects and programs to be funded in the financial year of 25-26, and that we did. Now strategies, Mr. Speaker, I could go on and on in terms of talking about managing our debt, because it is a very wide topic, but I think those are some of the salient features of what we are implementing. On strategies to manage county government funding constraints, first, there is a reason for funding constraints. One is the low ordinary revenue collections over the years. And Honorable Speaker, it is important to note that over the period 2016-2017 to 2024-25, actual ordinary revenue has always been below target, except for 2021-22. And hence, such shortfalls in actual ordinary revenue collections have led to constraints in county government funding. This is real, Mr. Speaker, because we budget, but the resources become a challenge when we don't meet the revenue targets. The need to finance mandatory expenditures under Article 203 of the Constitution, the government has an inevitable need to finance mandatory expenditures under Article 203 of the Constitution. Such expenditures relate to national interest programs such as the security modernization, strategic interventions. This leads to fiscal deficit in financing other major national government functions, which has always occasioned additional borrowing, which continues to distort our fiscal framework. And again, I want to say that the national government continues to solely bear shortfalls in revenue in any given financial year, as has always been demonstrated. There is also the high cost of public debt that is contributing largely. This is largely due to a relatively stable but still high exchange rate to the dollar, as well as high interest rates in the domestic markets. Public debt services in 25-26 will account for about 52% of ordinary revenue, which is higher than the average of 41% over the period from 2017 to 2024-25. So we are going up in terms of percentage of our ordinary revenue that goes towards settling the public debt or servicing public debt. What strategies is the ministry taking to manage county government's funding constraints? The national government, through National Treasury, is managing funding constraints to county government using a variety of strategies. By utilizing these strategies in a comprehensive and coordinated manner, the National Treasury has therefore been able to effectively manage funding for county governments and support their efforts to deliver essential services and promote development despite the prevailing fiscal constraints due to expenditure pressures and public debt commitments as shown above. The strategies enumerated below aim to ensure that county governments have the financial resources they need to fulfill their responsibilities and deliver services to Kenyan citizens. One is the conditional and unconditional allocations to counties. We have continued to give additional allocations to counties which are earmarked for specific programs or projects as defined by the central government. They provide targeted funding for special policy goals or initiatives, and these additional allocations can ensure that certain areas are prioritized and that funding is allocated in a way that aligns with the national priorities. However, the county government's additional allocations bill has always been passed by Parliament late towards the close of financial year, thereby denying counties additional funding for programs under national priorities such as county aggregated and industrial parks, program and community health promoters. We currently have a problem even absorbing this year's budget, county additional allocations, Mr. Speaker, because of how long it took between the two houses to agree. So promoting local revenue generation in the form of own source revenue, again here the National Treasury has been empowering county governments to generate their own revenue through taxation and other means. This is meant to increase the autonomy and fiscal sustainability of county government to alleviate the risks associated with over-reliance on equitable share to find essential services. The National Treasury has finalized the development and piloting of own-source revenue forecasting tools for counties to help them expanding their revenue bases, thus allowing them to implement realistic charges, levies, and fees geared towards raising more revenues. It is expected that this own-source revenue system generation will strengthen county government's autonomy and promote fiscal sustainability. Number 3 is promoting transparency and accountable financial management. The National Treasury is committed to ensuring that funding in counties is used effectively and efficiently so that county governments are accountable for the use of public funds. The National Treasury therefore urges counties to adhere to the clear guidelines for the allocation and use of funds through promoting transparency by making financial information readily available to the public as in the norm at the National Treasury. And I hope this House will help in realizing this. Implementing strong monitoring and evaluation systems, that is also something else. And finally, building partnerships with county governments. The National Treasury and Economic Planning has continued to foster collaboration between the national government and county governments to improve service delivery and promote development. The Office of the Cabinet Secretary continues to engage in regular dialogue with the Council of Governors through regular meetings and forums to discuss policy issues and share best practice. Some of these forums are even informal, Mr. Speaker, and we have a very good working relationship with the Council of Governors led by the Chair, who is also my professional colleague. Further, the National Treasury continues to supporting collaborative project financing through joint projects between the national governments, ministries, departments and agencies and county government, such as KIPES and CHPs, among others. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank you once again for this opportunity to engage with you together with the honorable members. Thank you very much.
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Very quick questions. I wanted to know from the CS what interventions is the ministry implementing in regards to pending bills, where you will find one pending bill that has been passed by the county assembly, and then the governor has his own list. And this comes to COB, and the governor's list will be paid. The one that has been passed by the county assembly is yet to be paid. Number 2 is on the issue of diversion of funds. When a contractor or a supplier is supposed to be paid by the county government, and the money is requisitioned from COB, and at the end of the day, that money goes to another contractor, different contractor, not the contractor or supplier who was requisitioned for. So how is the ministry going to deal with this matter? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the two questions are linked together. They're very related, where you find that the requisition is made through the normal system, through the control of budget, and yet the payment is given or paid to someone else or another contractor or to pay another bill. This is a problem that is very pronounced in counties from what I gather. And as we are actually, we are working on a tool, a system that will be used by both the national government and the county governments to ensure that the bill, what has been approved is actually what is paid for. And also to ensure that bills are prioritized in terms of first in, first out. Because again, there's a lot of favoritism and discretion by governors. So that, I mean, by decision makers at the counties and at the national government level. But even as we do that, I think the control of budget has capacity and tool. What we need control of budget to exercise or do is to make sure that their approval is respected, so that they rein on the county governments. The Auditor General can also be taking the approvals from the control of budget and use it to audit the actual expenditure. And then I also want to ask this Honorable House, the Senate, that this is also an area where you can help. I know you have helped before, but I think you can help more by ensuring that it's not even micromanaging, by ensuring that what has been approved is what is actually paid. Because these cases are too much. They are reported, we live in this country, we hear about them, and nothing seems to be happening to stop this, which I call actually illegal diversion of funds. Because if control of budget has approved money to be spent on a particular manner, that is how it should be spent. It should not be spent in a different manner at all. So we, as a National Treasury, are working on a system that would ensure that payments are made in line with the approval. As that is being done, I think we can still use the current system and supervision to help deal with some of these challenges.
Senator Sotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me start by congratulating the CS for the good work he's doing at the ministry, at the Treasury. Indeed, you are the expert that we have been talking about. I have two quick questions, Mr. Speaker. One is that the CS has talked about constraints in disbursing monies to the counties. And I would like to make reference to the disbursement schedule we passed last week to disburse money under additional allocation to the county. Maybe you can elaborate to this House what constraints you are facing. Because I spoke to my governor yesterday, and he told me that though we passed some monies, that money has not hit the account. Instead, there was a communication from the National Treasury about the further delay.
Go straight to the question, Honorable Sotsi.
So what are these constraints the ministry is facing, particularly in disbursing the money under additional allocation that we passed the disbursement schedule last week? Number two.
Honorable Gosotsi.
Yes.
Understanding Order 51C 7B, you're entitled to ask only one supplementary question,
okay.
which you have.
Very well,
Honorable
Mr.
CS, proceed to respond.
The constraints generally would be on cash flow challenges, especially where the funding is from GOK, and more particularly where we fail to meet the revenue targets by KRA. And I will tell you that we have so much demand At times, there are some months which are very bad, especially the months where we are paying loans. We are repaying loans. We usually have challenges in the month of January, February, very serious challenges in the month of May, and then July. Those are the months where we repay the Chinese loan on SGR, and those are the same months like January where we pay capitation to schools, and the capitation to schools is at times almost 50 billion. And remember, every month we pay 80 billion salaries. So if you add 80 billion, you add to say 40 billion, that's already 120, and you add that to debt repayments, we sometimes come to 50, 60, you're already beyond 200. And revenue collection in a month is averaging around 200 billion. Now that then puts a problem to funding counties, puts a problem to funding other development expenditure. But I will tell you, we still work very hard to make sure that counties get priority in terms of funding. And sometimes we look at even the balances of counties and release some money. When we have limited resources, release some funds to some counties which have low balances. Those who still have high balances, we again tell them when they spend, we give. As we speak, we have paid up to end of April all the monies to all counties. But we have May still outstanding. And of course we have June. And we have that constraint. Honorable Speaker, this year particularly, I think has been a terrible year. Apart from the fact that we had that economic shutdown, and I want honorable members to listen to me on this. Apart from the economic shutdown that we had for almost 2-3 months.
You have 1 minute, Honorable CS, to...
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. If you could add me 2 so that I could do 3, just to explain this bit. The economic shutdown led to slowed economic growth in the country and failed meeting of our targets in terms of revenue collection. But we also did not conclude with IMF the 9th review. So we lost $765 million going to budgetary support. As we speak, the World Bank's funding, or BOP, seems to be going to July. Because one of the things is that some of the legislations that were precedent to the release of these funds, Mr. Speaker, delayed in the legislative process. The conflict of interest bill was a key bill for World Bank to give us the funding. And when it was unlocked, there was no time to take our approval to the board. Now you see we are going to June 30th with 97 billion whole that I did not prepare for as Cabinet Secretary. Now, these are challenges, Mr. Speaker, which inhibit our release of funds. Even when sometimes National Assembly puts pressure on me on CDF, I don't even know what to do because the resources are constrained and we have to balance needs. Do you pay salary or you release money to CDF and release money to counties? Do you pay salaries or you stop paying salaries? Those are questions that you have to ask. You have debts to pay. You must pay those debts. If you default, the implication for our economy is dire. Remember, as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, the reason why we have tried very hard to make sure that we meet our obligations. There were 6 countries that were mentioned in 2021 by IMF as candidates for restructuring, as candidates for default. 5 have defaulted. It's only Kenya which has survived. Angola has defaulted, Ethiopia has defaulted, Ghana has defaulted, Chad has defaulted, and Zambia has defaulted. 5 economies out of 6, only Kenya has survived. I would want to urge and request this Honorable House to help support me, support the government, support my ministry, so that we don't fall to where these our contemporaries are fallen. And I am confident we are not going to fall there. That is why sometimes you see some challenges, but we'll outlive these challenges, Mr. Speaker, with your cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Senators. I'm afraid we may have to terminate our interrogation and interaction with the CS. at that. Honorable CS, thank you so much. You are now free to leave. Clerk, you may usher the CS in charge of mining. Now, honorable senators, this morning we lost 30 minutes waiting for quorum. 30 minutes that we would have otherwise utilized to interact with the CS Treasury. And therefore, I urge you, we need not ring the bell for us to get a quorum. If you can be able and if you can purpose to be in the chamber by 9:30, then we'll have more time to interact with honorable CSs.
Niko vizuri.
Clerk, do we have the CS in charge of mining? Honorable CS, welcome to the Senate. You are here today to respond to two questions. Order, honorable senators. Please let us take our seats. We will start with question number 031 by the Senator for Kisumu County, the Honorable Professor Tom Ojenda. You may now proceed to ask the question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question number 31 is in 4 parts. I have also received responses to the questions. I will ask the questions, but but I will save time because, Mr. Speaker, the responses are satisfactory, so the CS does not need to spend too much time responding. Mr. CS, the first question, part A, what regulatory framework exists for mining in Kenya, particularly regarding the safety of miners and prevention of child labor? And could the CS explain the attendant enforcement mechanisms? Part B, has the ministry conducted assessments or surveys to establish the extent of illegal gold mining operations in Kisumu County? And if so, could the CS disclose the findings and explain any efforts by the ministry to regularize illegal mining operations? Part C, what training or capacity building programs does the ministry offer to small-scale miners in Kisumu County regarding modern, safe, and sustainable mining practices in view of the various fatalities already recorded in various areas in Kisumu County? And lastly, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the steps taken by government to mitigate the negative environmental impacts of gold mining operations in Kisumu County? That's all, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond. You need not read your response verbatim. You may like to paraphrase it so that we, in the interest of time, that is. You may proceed, Honorable CS.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As indicated by Honorable Senator, that we have furnished with the relevant responses. I just wanted to assure the Senator or the House that indeed we are on course in training and capacity building on our artisanal miners and adhering to the regulatory framework and of course Mining Act 2016. Mr. Speaker, the Senator had asked on the preparation of the artisanal miners and capacity and licensing processes. I just wanted to inform the House that we have now formed cooperatives. We have undertaken capacity building. We are in line with our regulatory framework to ensure that they adhere to the regulations. So I am happy, Mr. Speaker, that the Honourable Member is satisfied with our responses. But generally, I want to assure the House that we are on course in capacity building, in creating safety nets, and ensuring restoration or rehabilitation of our mining, whatever activities that happen in all areas in our countries. Mr. Speaker, we've also deployed county mining officers to ensure that they work hand in hand with counties and communities so that we can adhere fully to the requirements of the law. So, in other words, we've not only decriminalized the artisanal activities, but we've also created processes of ensuring they adhere to the rule of law and also are supported accordingly, working with other partners such as NEMA, Ministry of Environment, and Ministry of Cooperative. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. Senator Tomogenda, you may ask your 2 supplementary questions.
Mr. Speaker, I have no supplementary question to the CS. I'm satisfied with the response. Thank you, Mr. CS.
Senator Wambua.
That's a new one coming from Senator Tom.
Senator,
my writing part.
Senator Professor Tomogenda, allow your colleague to ask a question if you're satisfied.
In the broad-based, it's okay.
Honorable CS, you may take your seat and then note all the questions because I'm going to allow a number of the senators to raise questions. Thereafter, you will respond to them at a go. Honorable Wambua.
The Speaker, the way Senator Tom is pointing at me, I'm not sure I'm safe. I want protection from you.
Senator Tomogenda, I have noted your...
You should resume a seat.
Senator Tomogenda, kindly resume your ordinary seat. Just proceed and do it quietly, please. Proceed, Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Speaker, for your protection. Speaker, my question flows from question B on illegal mining activities, and I wanted to find out from the CS